Good afternoon and welcome to H3 TV, where we talk about navigating disruption with hope, health, and happiness. I try to come to you every week since COVID hit all of us and life shifted, more of us more lonely, more anxiety. Even the people that weren't anxious found anxiety during the pandemic. And so we decided, how can we come to your living room, your office, your desk, wherever you sit, and bring you some encouragement? So every week I try to come here, usually on Wednesday, but whenever my guests fit into their schedule, that's when we meet you. So today I have my friend and guest, Taylor. Please welcome to the stage, Taylor.
Hello.
Hey, Taylor. Somehow you have no picture right now.
Oh, no.
Well, we're just going to start, and we're going to hope you can turn off your camera and turn it back on, but we'll just start the interview. Taylor, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you live. Taylor's
Yeah, so
invisible, but not really.
am I visible now?
Yeah.
No?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. So I am Taylor. I'm from Central Minnesota. Born and raised. I do a lot of different things. So I am an HR manager for a manufacturing industry. And I run some of my own health and wellness business and do some mindset coaching as well.
Awesome. I wish your camera worked. I don't
Me
know what's
too.
happening. 'Cause I can see you, but I can't see you. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it is showing up. Please tell us in the comments if you're watching. Are you seeing Taylor's face? I see her below, but oh, there she is. Now she's back. And I forgot to remind you, as our listeners, if you have questions, comments, or thoughts for myself or Taylor at any time, feel free to put them in the chat box. We'll either answer them on the show or we will follow up in the comments after the show. So, Taylor, when you think of the word disruption and storm, what comes to mind for you?
I think it's something that is out of your normal, out of your routine, something that challenges your comfort zone. I think to keep it really simple. I think when your comfort zone is pushed and limited, is when I think you're being disrupted.
Absolutely. So, when you personally or professionally think of a disruption that you've gone through, what was that? What was something you've gone through that really disrupted your comfort zone, disrupted your life or your career? What was that for you?
Oh man. I think there is, depending big or small, every day I think there's little disruptions from the daily struggles of exactly what we're doing here with cameras and technology. Is there's little disruptions you can't plan that way. To complete disruptions around even just patients tested, company buyouts, new people, and then life. Divorce. I went through a divorce at a young age. I'm a young manager, young leader. So learning the ropes as well as life. So there's so many uncontrollables, and I think there's disruption everywhere you look. It's just a matter of how you see it, big or small.
Yeah, I'd love you to pick one just to focus on today, Taylor, just because we want to go back to that time. And it could be currently happening or it could be something from your past, professionally or personally, just so we can kind of learn from your experience. So, our listeners, whatever they're going through. And one thing you just said that I think is so important, I often meet young people that have a lot of responsibility. One day they feel like a kid, the next day it's like, okay, you're an HR manager managing all these people and situations. So what's a disruption you want to focus on professionally or personally?
I think being a young leader, I think I would love to focus on, especially for anyone listening. There's a lot of challenge on talk about generations in the workplace and talk about the industry you're in. So being a female in a male dominated industry, and then being a high level leader in that as well, I think brings a lot of different challenges and disruptions. But again, every disruption is conquerable. I think.
I agree. So, when you're facing adversity as a young leader, sometimes needing to lead or influence people older than you, more experienced than you, how do you stay hopeful in the midst of that disruption? How do you remind yourself you got this when I'm looking at you like, what do you know? You're young, you're naive, you're a female, maybe you're being discounted occasionally. And how do you stay hopeful in the midst of that face of adversity or disruption?
I personally I've always been somebody who I like to depend on myself and my mindset, and knowing that I can do anything, and it's all what I tell myself. I rely on my faith a lot in that. But truly, it's just that reminder of, Taylor, you got this, you can do this. Your comfort zone, but you're going to grow through it. Is for sure 100%. I don't want to give anybody else that power. And I think that's huge.
I love that. So you said reminding yourself, your mindset, that you can do anything. So staying positive. You said your faith, and you said repeating it, like going back to it, like, hey, I got this, I got this. So I love that. Those are great examples of how to stay hopeful when you feel a little overwhelmed and maybe even underqualified. It's always hard to start a new job or have superiors that are more experienced or older than you, or people that you are their superior in some way, or at least somebody of influence to them. So that's great. How do you, when you are overwhelmed though, because it does happen to all of us and we get kind of run down and exhausted, how do you stay healthy in the midst of that, with self-doubt, even though you're positive and you have a strong faith and you know you can do it? How do you stay healthy and take care of yourself so you can keep going on the days that are overwhelming?
I think one is reminders. I think two, if you're a visual, if you're a spiritual, whatever it is, I think you need to put daily reminders. If it's notifications in your phone, if it's tack boards, tag boards, notes. But the other thing is you need to have your out, and to really recognize whether it's a hobby, it's reading, it's time in the morning devotional, whatever it is, you need to have time for yourself. And that's something in the last 2 years, probably that was my biggest learning curve. And that's where I really grew the most. And that was when I devoted time for me. And I figured out what it was that I was passionate about and what was my refuel. So what filled my cup? Because in HR, being a leader in the company, is a lot of times I'm dumping my cup, or people are taking out of my cup, and I have to refill it myself. So I think for me, it's nature, walks, reading, but it's different for everybody. So I think it's really important to spend time by yourself, do things, and really figure out what is your fuel.
Absolutely. I love that. You said outlet. So you need to have a place you can go to when you need to get away.
Sure.
I love also, Taylor, one thing you said is you need to know what fills your cup. I think sometimes we wait till we're depleted and think, I don't know how to fill myself, so I'm going to turn to the bottle or turn to video games for 12 hours or Facebook, which makes me feel worse. So I think when you have that plan ahead of time, like you love nature, you're a woman of faith, you like to read, like you have these things that can fill you up, you have your go-to. So we need to have that prepared ahead of time, because life is going to get messy and exhausting at times. So I love that.
Not even prepare ahead of time, but I even think to plan it in your daily or weekly routines, because don't wait until you are depleted. Don't wait until it's gone. Then it's really hard to get to it. And then you have to repeat to get yourself to even do it. And then there may be guilt and other things. Don't wait that long. I think it's important to 10 minutes a day or one day a week or whatever it is for you. And it's going to be different for everybody. And that's where it's hard. But that's also really fun, depending on how you look at it.
That's right. You're scheduling it in. I like it. All right. So my next question is, how do you stay healthy, or not healthy? How do you stay happy and like find humor and happiness in the midst of those challenging times?
That's a really good question. And I think it is said by everybody, but I don't find myself, and some may disagree with me, but I don't find myself as a very funny person. So I don't lighten myself very often. And I really look to who do I surround myself with, and knowing who those individuals are, but also finding fun. And I do that through positivity, is to remind myself, again, repeat that it's like, Taylor, it's really not this serious. Am I winning today? Like, is this going to matter tomorrow? And those things, it's like, no, or yes, and depending on that, it's measure it, but I think it's all a full circle. If you're focused on growing in your mindset and having your refuels and outlets, it'll come a lot easier, I think. And that's something I really, it's all interconnected. You just got to pick one, start with one.
Yeah, 100% interconnected. So you said you don't think you're that funny. Others might disagree. So my question for you is, where do you look for the funny? Who makes you laugh? What makes you laugh? What are the things you do that bring you joy and laughter?
I truly, I honestly don't even know. I think it's just throughout my, I think through positivity, you goof up. Don't take yourself too seriously. I tend to like, we're humans, you know, we do weird things, we do silly things.
Yes.
Don't take yourself too seriously. And if someone's laughing at you, laugh with them, you know, and
I like
that's
it.
kind of where I guess I find my humor is you mess up, everyone does it. We do weird things. We're all a little weird in our own ways. So
Exactly. Don't take yourself too seriously, I think is a
for sure.
great lesson because people do and they put such pressure and it's like,
Mhm.
come on, you don't think you're going to mess up? We all mess up. This is part of the story. So
For
Taylor,
sure.
what lessons, you know, I know that we have some young listeners that are in positions of influence, are leaders in companies. What are maybe 3 to 5 lessons that you've learned over the last few years that you wish someone would have told you when you started, or that you would love to tell someone as they're starting their career and maybe in a role of influence or leadership?
I think two really big things. One is something that I feel like I've had from the beginning, and I think it has carried me a long way through, and that's actions speak louder than words. And I think that's important no matter where you're at, level, age, whatever it is you can say so many things, but if your actions don't follow, you lose respect really fast. And then two is take small, slow steps when you need to and take fast steps when you can. And that sometimes some people are going to take time, and you're going to need to take time to show them and demonstrate and earn that respect and trust. And other times people are just going to give it to you. Run when you got it. Use your influencers when you have them. And I don't think sometimes we focus on a lot of people or a lot of things and we waste a lot of energy. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but sometimes we give 20 people our energy, give 5 and let those people influence the other 15. And I think that's huge in realms of especially being a young leader is you're not going to be able to influence everybody at once. Influence the influencers and let them do the, you know, and let that build.
I think that's brilliant, Taylor. I think that's really important. I think sometimes if you have self-doubt, you start to help everybody and do everything, and then you don't really do anything well. But if you just pick 3 to 5 people and like, I'm really going to pour into them, I'm really going to empower them, I'm really going to delegate to them and believe in them and let them be the trickle down effect. I think that's a brilliant piece of wisdom for any age, whatever we're doing, but especially if we're new and we're taking on a lot, we can get so overwhelmed. So
For sure.
and I really like the move slow. What? Say it again. Move slow. I might have you write this one because I liked it.
I don't know if I'm gonna be able to repeat it.
Yeah, it was good.
Move slow when you can move slow, but you need to move quick. Take quick steps when you can move fast.
Yeah.
And you need to lean into that, I think, because there are times when it's like, wow, I'm running. Then run. Don't force yourself to, you know. And then but there are times where you're gonna have to take baby steps, and you're gonna need to think things through. But there's nothing more than building a strong team, working with respect. And it's crazy the influence you can make when you truly have that trust and respect. And I think you earn that by actions and truly putting in the work and showing that you'll do it right next to them. I'm no better than anybody else. And we're a team, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's really, it's not that really important.
For sure. I might have you write about that in the comments if you can, whenever you get time. And I also like actions speak louder than words. I think it's really easy to tell people how great I am and what I can do. But until I start showing them, until I put that action into work, you know, when people say to me, Annie, you got to work smart. I'm like, you're right. And you got to work hard, right? Like I've got to actually do what I say I'm going to do, not just draw a beautiful picture and make you feel good about me. I got to show you that I can actually do it. So is there anything, Taylor, that you wish you would have known before you stepped into this role? You know, as a leader, as an influencer, is there anything you wish you would have known before? Maybe something you've learned along the way?
I think to have confidence to really lean into your confidence. And once you've built those relationships and you know your things, I think, or you know your stuff, and there's always an opportunity to learn more. But I think really to have confidence and speak with confidence and no, this is really what we need to do, or this is really important, or say, you know, we can do this or we can do that or the other thing, but this is why. I'm going to explain why, give the details, be vulnerable in your leadership, be vulnerable in your be human. People want to see that. People want to know who you are and why you do the things you're doing. And those are hard to do, but key.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So how do you personally right now use the lessons you've learned, the influence you have to support other people on their journey? This is a great way today, just coming on here and sharing some of your wisdom, but what are other ways that you mentor or influence other people in your organization or outside of it?
Yeah, I do some, I really, again, like I said, I love mindset. I think appreciation, being human is really, really important. So in my current role, in my, I guess, 9 to 5 job, I do a lot of like appreciation coaching, problem solving, teamwork stuff, development, leadership development. But then on the side, I do a lot of knowing your motivation and how to lean into what you're driven by and how to maybe lean away or take off your plate some of the things that burden you or aren't as fun to do. And I do a lot of that one-on-one coaching, as well as do some group presentations, stuff like that. But yeah, so kind of a variety, looking to obviously still growing, still learning,
Yeah.
trying to figure out that niche and that path.
Taylor, have you read the book, The Five Forms of Five Appreciation?
Yeah, so I've actually done some training on love languages, but I actually have done the 5 languages of appreciation in the workplace.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that you can, I actually am doing a training in January on appreciation. And I think it's really important for your family life, for your work life, for your friends, everything. And it sounds so simple, but it is so much more complex than we really think it is.
Yeah. And it's so valuable on how it can influence relationships, change when we understand how we like to be appreciated and loved, when we understand how the people around us like to, like, we can be doing great stuff and keep missing. But if we're like, oh, you need words. Oh, you need gifts. Okay. Now I get it, because somebody can be doing, my husband and I'm very much quality time. He's very much, he likes to do acts of service for me. And I'm like, that doesn't make me feel loved. I want to hang out with you and go for a walk and do that. It doesn't cost you money. It doesn't, but I think that understanding, and that's love, but just appreciation inside the workplace, how we can communicate. And sometimes people leave jobs because nobody told them they were doing great, even though they thought it, and so I think it's so important. I love that you're doing that. So if I can ask you, for me, it's about sinking, being stuck inside our own negative mindset, inside of our circumstances. How have you, Taylor, taken when you did face a challenge or adversity, personally or professionally? How have you chosen to soar above it? Not to let those disruptions define you. I always think there's interruptions, there's disruptions, but sometimes people get so stuck in their messy that they let it, that's all they are. And it's like, that's just a part of you. Keep soaring above that. Don't let that define you. So how have you soared above your circumstances and your disruptions?
It maybe sounds silly, but I think repetitive. I talk to myself confidently every day and say, Taylor, you got this. You can do this. You're beautiful. You're strong. You're independent. You're a leader. And it maybe sounds silly. And if you don't want to do it around other people, don't. But talk in a mirror, let yourself know. Right behind me here, I have a board full of you're courageous. You're strong. You have to remind that. And the words you speak to yourself are so important. And then get yourself an environment where you feel like yourself and you feel comfortable, whether that's nature, whether it's at a concert, music, whatever it is. Get yourself an environment where you feel like you're you and write or speak or think, and just let your brain just be you. And then understand that, accept who you are and the things that you're good at and the things that you're bad at. You are a gift. You have gifts. Lean into them. Don't run away from them. It's crazy.
But I think
people are running away from the things they're good at.
Yeah. Anybody that thinks it's weird to write, I'm amazing, I'm powerful, wonderful. The reason they think it's weird is they can't imagine talking to themselves like that. And a lot of people call these affirmations. Write your affirmations, repeat your affirmations. I call them belief cards because I'm really writing them till I believe them. And I'm repeating them until I believe them. And I always try to remind people, if you don't like yourself, if you don't think you're amazing, why would anyone else? And that doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean better than. It just means you have gifts and you are
Yep.
called to share them with the world, professionally and personally, in your relationships, in your workplace, as you influence. And those of us that love our work as you do, you know that it's a privilege to be an influencer to those around you. And you love to watch the people you get to pour into all of a sudden go, hey, I'm not so bad. Hey, I do like myself. Hey, I can perform better when I show up without the negative self-talk. So I love that you have these boards around you. I love that you say this. I celebrate that you say this. And I cannot encourage listeners enough. Get up every morning and look in that mirror and find 3 amazing things about you, whether it's your looks, whether it's your energy, whether it's your influence, whether it's your contribution to the world. We need people that like themselves in the world, because if you like you, you will like other people, and that we all will be kinder. And if you get up and say, oh, I'm horrible, nothing works, my relationship, my career, well, that's how it's going to show up. And I'm not a person that's like, let's sit down and I believe in manifesting and it'll all happen. I believe we say it, and then I believe we go to work to make it happen, to believe it, and then to make it possible. And that's what I see about you, Taylor, is you decided to shift where the struggles you've gone through in your past personally and say, that's not who I am. I'm going to rewrite this story and it's going to be extraordinary, right? And so you're doing it. And not only are you doing it, you're helping other people as they desire to do it. So I love that. So if you wanted to leave our listeners with some wisdom, a story, something to show them that this is possible, no matter what age you are, no matter what you've gone through, what is something you want to share? Maybe someone's sitting here listening and they're like, yeah, it's easy for you, Taylor. Look how pretty you are. Look how easy your life is. My life's hard. What is some story, encouragement, wisdom that you could share with that listener today?
I think so. In a very short, very little glimpse is grew up with divorced parents. Mom's not really a part of my life. Got divorced when I was 23, married when I was 21. Traveled. I have gone on road trips. I've gone on so many things. But I think the mindset of saying, I will not let my past be my present is everybody has the opportunity to rewrite their story. And I love that you said that, because Mandisa, I think, is the one, she writes a song about writing her story, write your story. And everybody can rewrite your story. That's right. Don't think about the past. What you did yesterday is no longer, it doesn't affect you. If you messed up yesterday, give yourself grace. You're human. Start over today. That's right. And don't worry about what's going to happen in the future, because what you're doing today is going to change what you're doing tomorrow. Yeah. Win today, go through today. And I think that doing that one step at a time, and we all mess up. Nobody is perfect. And to realize that if somebody looks perfect, they're hiding it. Nobody is perfect. I will guarantee you that.
Those are the people that scare me the most. I'm like, oh, you're a little too put together. You probably can't be friends. I'm too messy to hang out with you.
Yeah, I think the people is, if you have a messy story or a messy past, you have so many more experiences and so much. And if you don't, you have a different way of life, and we have different outlooks, and that's beautiful. That's what makes us human. And then to remember that everybody has a gift. Everybody is gifted with something. And if you don't think you are, you just haven't found it yet. Yes. And if you leave with anything, know that you have a gift. You just got to find it. And if you don't know how to find it yourself, find people like Annie, myself. There's many people out there that want you to find your gift.
That's right.
Come find us and we'll help you.
That's right. We're going to help you find a gift. And I love that, Taylor, that is such a part of my messaging. It's such a part of my writing, is that I think people will tell me, but this is my story. And I ask, does it serve you? And the truth is, even our most painful stories sometimes serve us, because being a victim, we can get sympathy and empathy and people feel sorry for us, but you're never empowered as a victim. And for me, it's about rewrite those stories that no longer serve you. Maybe they did. And even if they were ugly, maybe they did. But at some point you decide, you know what? I would rather be right. I always say, I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I want people to be inspired by me. And that's what I think you do, Taylor. You take the adversity you faced and you're like, okay, so that's a part of my story, but it's not my story. I've rewritten it. And now not only have I overcome it, I'm using my overcoming as a positive influence to other people on their mindset, on their influence, on how they show up, on eliminating saying, well, I'm not old enough to lead, or I'm not. No, none of that's true. We can rewrite that and become. So I love what you're doing, love who you are. So I know people are going to want to connect with you, Taylor. So what is the best way to get a hold of you? Where can people, if they want to reach out, they want to ask you questions, they want to get to know a little bit more about you, what's the best place to connect?
I think LinkedIn is probably the best. It's what I keep most up to date currently. I'm on other platforms, but definitely LinkedIn is probably my most current.
Awesome. So I don't know what you are watching as listeners. I am seeing a still frame of Taylor a lot, but I want you to know she is vibrant and energetic, and she is not a still photo, though she's a lovely still photo. So I hope you're all seeing her animated and the energy that she has. If it does not work out on this H3 TV, we'll definitely have her back again. But thank you so much for being with me, Taylor. You're such an inspiration. I'm so proud to know you and the good work that you're doing in the world. So thank you for being here with us. And thank you to our listeners. Remember, you can ask questions, leave comments, and Taylor or I, or both of us will get back to every single one. Thanks for listening.
Thank you all.